The history of the Ghana Armed Forces dates back to the pre-colonial era. The Ghana Armed Forces is the unified armed force of Ghana, consisting of the Ghana Army GA, Ghana Navy GN, and Ghana Air Force GAF. The three are managed and supervised by the Ministry of Defense and the Chief of Defense Staff, with the President of the Republic as the Commander-in-Chief. The Ghana Army is the main ground welfare organizational military branch of the Ghana Armed Forces. The backbone of every force is the men on the ground, the army. The ground troops are the heartbeat of the military.
The Ghana Armed Forces has one role that all the services contribute to achieve. The major one is to protect the territorial integrity of the country, both by land, by sea, and by air.
The Navy is the Naval Combat Organizational Military Branch. Its NAB is the Gold Coast Naval Volunteer Force formed during World War II. The imperialists established it to conduct seaward patrols to ensure that the coastal waters of the colony were free from mines. Ghana Navy was established by an Act of Parliament on July 29, 1959.
Well, the Ghana Navy is responsible for the protection and defense of this country by sea, protecting the territorial integrity and the territorial waters of this country.
The Ghana Air Force, the aerial welfare organizational branch of the Ghana Armed Forces, started on 24 July 1959 as a flying training school with Israeli instructors and technicians. In 1960, Royal Air Force personnel took up the task of training the newly established Ghana Air Force, and in 1961, a small group of Royal Canadian Air Force personnel joined them. In September 1961, as part of President Kwame Nkrumah's Africanization program, a Ghanaian Chief Air Force Staff was appointed. Is there a time the three services work hand in hand for a common good?
Let's take, for instance, there is problems at sea. The Air Force, they fly high up and they go far, and so they can see far. So they can go out there in the sea, over the sea, and then bring the information to the Navy. So the Navy will move there and then effect whatever arrest that there is. But when the people come to the land, then if there's a need for the land operators to also come in, then the army will also come in. So we always work hand in hand. There are times when you are supposed to go and conduct some operation. The land forces will join the ships, and then they take you ashore, then you go down to go and then operate.
Ghana's military system is divided into two parts, hence getting into the system takes two forms.
You have recruitment for the other ranks, and then enlistment for the officer corps. Recruitment and enlistment, if you are not qualified and you give money to anybody, that person will just take your money. If you are not qualified, you are not qualified. We don't charge money for recruitment or enlistment. Don't give money to anybody to help you get yourself recruited into the system, because if you are not qualified, you will be picked up. And if you are qualified also, then that person would have taken your money for free because you got recruited or enlisted based on your own merit. But because you think that somebody has to help you, so you would have given money to somebody and he will take your money for free.
All three services refer to their senior men as officers. However, when it comes to the juniors or other ranks, whereas the Army refers to them as soldiers, the Air Force uses airmen or airwomen, and the Navy refers to them as ratings. A quick walk through the ranks of the Navy by Naval Commander Michael Adolabi, who has been in the service for the past 17 years. First, who is a commander in the Navy?
A commander is the rank which comes after a lieutenant commander and just before the naval captain or Captain GN as we refer to it in the Ghana Armed Forces. The commander in the mainstream Navy might be in charge of a ship, a commanding officer or of a ship, depending on the specification of that ship, which requires that you should have somebody of that rank to be the commanding officer. That is the mainstream Navy. Then apart from that, the commander could also be somebody of that rank holding an appointment as an operations officer in any of the commands, then also serving at the Navy headquarters as a deputy director. In the tri-service units, like the Directorate of Public Relations, which is at the general headquarters, somebody of the rank of a commander, although a Navy officer, can still serve in that unit there as one of the deputy directors in any of the tri-service units at the general headquarters. For the other ranks in the Navy, we refer to them as ratings. The junior ones are referred to as junior rates, and of course the seniors are senior rates. The rank starts from the able seaman class 2, which normally you would see here. But ordinarily, immediately they pass out from their training centers, they are classified as ordinary seamen. Before subsequently, they move on to able seaman. And that level, they are classified or reclassified from able seaman class 2 to able seaman class 1. So the ordinary seamen, able seaman class 2 do not have any rank insignia on the side of their shoulders. But from able seaman class 1 has what we call the bosun's corps. Then the leading seaman had 1 anchor. The petty officer class 2 has 2 crossed. Then the petty officer class 1 has 2 crossed with a star on top of it. The chief petty officer class 1 also has an anchor there with a star, and this one has a double ribbon around it. Then we move to the fleet chief petty officer, which has the logo of the Ghana Armed Forces with our motto in it, and the rank also depicting that he's a fleet chief petty officer. Then the master chief petty officer also has his rank also depicted inside that insignia. Now for the officers, we have what we call the acting sub-lieutenant, which is not indicated here because the rank is just like that of the sub-lieutenant. So from the sub-lieutenant, you move to the naval lieutenant, or what we know as the lieutenant GN. Then the lieutenant commander. The difference between it is a thin bar between the middle here that differentiates between the lieutenant GN and the lieutenant commander. Then from there you move to the commander, then a naval captain. From naval captain, then you move to the officers of flag officer rank. That is a commodore, which you will know as like a 1-star general. That is a rank, a very, very thick bar with a loop on it. Then you come to rear admiral, vice admiral, then subsequently an admiral.
Now, a comparative education on the rank structure of the 3 service units.
Ghana Armed Forces rank structure is, as you can see, the private soldier has nothing to show on his dress. He's always bare. And the lance corporal, you have this V-like sign for the army. The able seaman is like a pipe, and the leading aircraftman, the Air Force man, is a wing. The corporal is the same for the army and the Air Force, except that the Air Force use the white background, the army is gold background, and the Navy is an anchor. If we come to sergeants, army is 3, Air Force the same 3, and then the Navy you have 2 anchors put together. The staff sergeant is the sergeant with a crown on it for the army. The Navy have 2 anchors, which is a petty officer class 1 with a star on it. Then the Air Force also have a white patch sewn on top like a cap for the flight sergeants. So whilst we have sergeant for the army, you have petty officer class 2 for the Navy and sergeant for the Air Force. There is staff sergeant for the army, then there is petty officer class 1 for the Navy, and then flight sergeant for the Air Force. Warrant officer class 2 is like the crown that they have on the staff sergeant. It's the same crown that the major also wears. Yes, but this time it's big because it's worn on the wrist. Then the petty officer class 2, he wears the thing on his collar. It's the same ankle, a very small gold metal anodized actually. That's what they wear on the collar. Then the warrant officer class 2, his is also a crown, but designed differently. You have the coat of arm of the Air Force in the like a background. So you come to Warrant Officer Class 1. This is also the Army coat of arm, and then you have the Air Force coat of arm. Just similar, but the backgrounds are different. This is red and this is sky blue. Then you have the Chief Petty Officer Class 1 for the Navy. The same anchors, but the cap badge differs. So the cap badge of the Chief Petty Officer Class 1 is different from the one worn by the Chief Petty Officer Class 2. So if you come to the Senior Warrant Officer Class 1, it's the same coat of arms that is here, but the design is different. The Master Warrant Officer rank insignia is similar to that of the Warrant Officer Class 1, but the design is different, and then the color combination is also different. And the Chief Warrant Officer, currently we have only one, that is the Forces Sergeant Major, and his rank design is also different, but it's the same coat of arms. He has the Armed Forces coat of arms, and he wears the same cap badge as his rank, and then he wears it on his cap too. You come to the Navy, you realize that theirs is a bit different from the Army and the Air Force. You look at the pipe, the anchors, and then it's anchor running through their rank. Just that the shape and the sizes differs from rank to rank. But the Air Force Warrant Officer wears the rank on the wrist like the Army Warrant Officer. The Warrant Officer Class 1, Warrant Officer Class 2, the same thing. Then you come to the Senior Warrant Officer, the Senior Air Warrant Officer. All of them wear the ranks on their shoulders, not the wrist. Yes. The Fleet Chief Petty Officer wears the rank on the chest. Yes, that is where the rank is like a badge there. Then that is the rank. Then the Master Warrant Officer happens to be the senior most Army Warrant Officer. Yes, and the Master Warrant Officer. You always have only one
at a time.
At a time. So the Army as a service is the senior most person at the general ranks. If you come to the Navy, you have a Master Chief Petty Officer. He's only one, but he's the senior most. Then you come to the Air Force, you have the Master Air Warrant Officer, who is the senior most. Chief Warrant Officer, that is the FSM. You looking at the other ranks to the whole system, like the Forces Sergeant Major is like the CDS of the other ranks. Then you have the Master Warrant Officers being like the service chiefs. Then the rest, it goes down like that.
Exactly what is the difference between a colonel and a lieutenant colonel?
A colonel is an army rank, a senior officer, and he dresses like the way I'm dressed. He has the crown and then 2 stars. What's the distinguishing thing is this red thing, the gorget. Yes. It's only the colonel who wears this. The Air Force, the group captain, who is equivalent to the Army colonel, also wears this, but theirs is in the air blue. In the Navy, the colonel's equivalent is the captain. Whereas the captain in the Army is a junior person, a captain in the Navy is a senior officer.
A lieutenant colonel happens to be a senior officer who falls between the rank of a major and a full colonel, depending on where you find yourself. Here at the General Headquarters, I happen to be a deputy director. At the infantry units in teaching arms, you become a commanding officer with the rank of a lieutenant colonel. With our commands, our schools, you become a director and staff. A lieutenant colonel usually has 2 peeps, and that's of a major rank, and then a lieutenant rank. That's of the star, that the crown and the star put together makes you a lieutenant colonel. So you realize that this peep, the star, is that of a second lieutenant, and then the crown is that of a major. So these two ranks put together makes you a lieutenant colonel. These are logos.
Logos.
Yes. This is from the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. The person that you pass through this to haven't done the junior and senior division. This is a course in peacekeeping, and it is part of the package at Ghana Armed Force Command and Staff. And this happened to be a wing that was awarded to me, having gone through the jumps and then making me a parachutist. It's worth it to know, which I'm very proud of that. I happen to be one of the first 2 females who did the jump in Ghana, and if I'm not mistaken, even West Africa in general.
Strangely, for most people, especially among civilians, the rank captain sounds the highest. What accounts for this perception?
Captain is something that we are all used to. You have a captain for a football team. You have a captain cheering a group of people. So we are all used to captains. And so once they talk about captain, in the ship, the captain is the boss. On the football field, the captain is the boss. We are playing hockey, the captain, netball, captain. And so everybody knows who a captain is. So once somebody is referred to as a captain, he's expected to be the one in charge. And that is how come everybody likes the rank captain. And I was told as a cadet, if you're a captain, you at that level, your confidence level is very high. Yes, because you have gone through, when they arrange the junior officers, you are the senior most person there. Okay. And you are just sitting at the border to shift into the senior officer level. So you see that you know more than the lieutenants. And some people will tell you that once the person gets to major, he just relaxes. But the captain, you want to prove to everybody that you know. And so even in the military, the captain is somebody who carries a lot of this. Officer commanding, most men, he moves with the men and give orders on the ground.
Ranks in the Ghana Armed Forces comes with their short form of writing for you to easily read and understand when you come across them anywhere. Take a critical look at this. How does one progress from one rank to the other in the Ghana Armed Forces?
From private, lance corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, warrant officer, class 2, and warrant officer, class 1. Then you go to senior warrant officer, the master warrant officer, and the chief warrant officer. That is for the other rank class. Then the officers, with second lieutenant, you go to lieutenant. Then from lieutenant you go to captain, captain to major, major to lieutenant colonel to colonel. Then from colonel you go to brigadier general. Then you move on to major general, then lieutenant general. Then from lieutenant general you go to general. But our armed forces, the senior most rank is lieutenant general.
Since its establishment, nobody in the Ghana Armed Forces has attained the rank of a field marshal. Why?
The size of our armed forces is also a contributing factor. The armed forces is not very large, and then the type of armament and equipment that we are using also are contributing factors. And so in countries where the size of the military is very big, then certain ranks need to be there to accommodate the size of the armed forces. Yes, and I think that there are threats is one, and then also the size of the country's force also determine the size of the armed forces, because the whole population is around 25 million plus or minus, and so you can't have an armed forces that is also about 10 million. Then everybody in the country will virtually be a military person.
There are different dresses for different ceremonies in the Ghana Armed Forces, and every military personnel is demanded to dress in alignment.
In the military, alignment is very, very important to us. Everything that you do has to follow some line, an imaginary line maybe drawn somewhere. So when you see soldiers formed up, somebody is checking to see everybody is in line. So let's take for instance, with this my beret that I'm wearing. This cap badge that you see here is supposed to align with my left eye. It's supposed to align with my left eye. So without even a mirror, I can put on this dress and check to see that I'm dressed properly.
Can you do that
Yes.
for us to see?
See, when I put on the beret this way, and you see, I take the alignment this way with this finger to make sure that the cap badge is in line with my left eye. Yes, so once I do and I get an alignment, I just draw this thing down and then I'm okay. I don't even need a mirror. Let's take for instance, the person is wearing gabardine like this and then he's wearing a cap. Straight away you see that this person is an imposter. If he's not an imposter, and then he's a military person, then it means that that person needs some attention. There's something wrong. Yes, because he, in your normal state, you will not dress like that. And we have ceremonial dresses. We have different dresses for different functions. I can't wear the mess kit. You have some dress like a small jacket with a bow tie. Yes, I can't wear that dress and bring it to the office. If I do that, I have not dressed properly, because it's mess kit and it's supposed to be worn only for the evening functions or in a mess. At the same time, there's a ceremonial dress, which the colored dresses you see people when they are marching, so that the 6 March parades. That ceremonial dress too is not a dress that you wear and bring it to work. And so, depending on the function, the dress that you wear is different. If I wear a boot with this dress, somebody want to ask questions. Well, I'm supposed to wear a shoe with this gabardine dress, but not a boot.
This headgear, or the beret as we call it, can be worn on this, which we call the number 2's uniform, or the action working dress, the AWD, the sea blue and the navy blue one that you see us wearing. So ideally I can also wear the cap SD, which is this particular one, also on the number 2's uniform. This one is also worn on what we call a bush jacket, those ones that you might see us wearing that we do not tuck in, but it has 4 pockets at the front here with the shiny buttons. It's also worn with this cap SD. Then we have what we call the number 5s. You would see us sometimes wearing a black suit and a tie with 6 buttons, 3 on each side, and our ranks up the sleeve here. This one is also worn with that uniform, that black suit with a black tie. When your ranks are on the sleeve, that is that particular uniform, the number 5 is the black one. That is the only one that we have it on the sleeve. So once you have that rank on the sleeve, you don't wear any other rank on the shoulder, unless maybe the eaglet that the very, very senior officers, the commodores and rear admirals and other admirals wear. They have an insignia at the top here to depict that they are generals.
This is known as a lanyard, commonly worn by soldiers. What are they, and must every soldier wear them?
The lanyard for the army is mostly done in the colors of the respective unit. And so if you know a unit's lanyard and you see anybody wearing it, straight away you can say that no, this person is coming from this unit. Mine is from the general headquarters. So anybody you see wearing a lanyard that has this colors, this ash and then deep red color, then it's from the general headquarters.
But the Navy do not wear lanyards, and I think it has a tradition or history behind it, and we are made to believe that whilst you're serving on the ship, and we have smaller compartments when you pipe what we call action stations or something that is of emergency nature, and you need to run through those narrow doorways, and you have lanyards hanging on you. You could entrap your own self, or you could endanger your own self because of those loose lanyards hanging on you. So normally we do not wear lanyards in the Navy. So what you might have seen some Navy officers wearing, the very senior ones, are what we call eaglets, and they normally wear it on the left, on their ceremonial uniforms and on the number 5's uniform that I mentioned. Their flag lieutenants, or what you might know as their ADCs, also once in a while wear those ones on their right to depict that they are serving a general or a flag officer.
What can we use in differentiating one general from the other?
For the army, you see that the car badge, their car badge, and then the gorgets that they wear. Theirs have a gold marble leaf in their gorgets, and then their car badge is also different. And so all the generals wear the same type of car badge and then the same type of gorget, except that the ranks, the stars, for the 1-star general, the brigadier general is 1, the major general is 2, and the lieutenant general is 3. But the car badge and then the gorget that they wear is the same.
Do you know that the Army and Air Force have their own police, known as the Military Police and Air Police, respectively? Who are they and what do they do?
There are certain type of duties that you don't necessarily have to fall on the civil police to perform. They act as our MTTD, the air traffic control. The armed forces is an institution that is like a country on its own. We have a little bit of virtually everything. So there are certain basic things that we can do for ourselves. And so the same services. But the police people, their main role is also to maintain discipline.
In the army?
Yes. So they are a check on us.
So you can be arrested by a military police, air police?
Yes. So even if it's a lance corporal. So the military police, other ranks start from lance corporal. They don't start as private soldiers. Just to give them some level of authority to be able to. So once you are driving your car, he wants to check, you have to stop.
No matter your rank?
Yes, you have to stop for them to do what they are supposed to. They have that responsibility to do that.
Indeed, the Ghana Armed Forces is a whole structure of its own. It is believed that personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces close from work at 1:30 p.m. and get paid on the 15th of each month. Why?
We don't necessarily close early. Well, we are on 24 hours call. But for our civilian employees who work with us, they start work at 7:30. And then they close.
The civilians?
Yes, plus the military personnel who work in the offices. Officially, you come to work at 7:30. You go for 30 minutes, only 30 minutes break, from 10:30 to 11. And then you come back to work and close at 1:30. But hardly anybody closes at 1:30. We always have people who perform 24-hour duty. And we are always on call. Yes, you close 1:30, you go, but if there's a need for you to do anything, you will be called back. And that is also explain why we always live in the barracks. You can be called up at any time for a task. The authorities decided to pay us a bit early so as to reduce congestion at the banks, because our pay is calculated from 15th to 15th, whilst yours is from 1st to the end of the month. Ours is from 15th to 15th, which comes out to the same thing. But they realized that when this banking system started, that every worker had to go to the bank and then go and take pay. There are times you are in the office, you want to rush to go to the bank and come back. There's a very long queue, all manner of persons looking for money. So to ease that congestion, and then the issue of people trying to use their rank and uniform to push their way through, we take our salary at the time that very few workers will be receiving their pay at that time.
Apart from security duties, what role does the Ghana Armed Forces play in national development?
When it comes to contributing to national development, then you see the three services doing that in different ways.
How?
The land people, you normally see our engineers assisting in road construction, building bailey bridges, helping in disaster relief and all those things. The Navy play their role at sea, protecting our fishery resources. Now we are mining oil, and so they protect our sea rigs and all those things. They see to it that we don't have traffickers at sea. All this in the Navy does, and then make sure that our sea route is safe. Okay. So that's their contribution. Then the Air Force help to move resources from one location to another, especially when there are elections, areas where people cannot easily drive to, boats cannot go, the helicopters will lift material and send them. Move resources from one location to another, and then at the same time they inspect all our pylons. This VRA and ECG, grid code, the alliance, you have them inspecting all these lines. When there are problems, they draw attention. Now Ghana Gas also have come in, their pipelines, all these things are done with the support of the Air Force. So by so doing, we are also contributing to national development.
Hopefully, with this knowledge, you can now identify and differentiate between the three service personnel at any time just by looking at their shoulders or wrists and other parts of their uniforms to tell their ranks. Also, identifying an imposter by way of uniform or dressing has been made easy.